The Catholics of Oz is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
You're listening to episode 56 of The Catholics of Oz. The Catholics of Oz is a show where we discuss faith, culture, and what's been happening from an Aussie perspective. Whether it's synods or science, apostolate synapse, providence or productivity, you can hear it right now on The Catholics of Oz. Hello, my name is Lindsay Sands, one of the hosts of The Catholics of Oz. Great to have you all with us. And as always, I'm joined by, she just made it, she just scraped her way into the room from her bed, climbed, not because she's being lazy, but because she's unwell again. So, Caroline, I'm putting sanitizer all over my screen so nothing comes through.
Please put
Caroline
lots of sanitizer.
I'm going to ask how you are. You can answer how you like. How are you, Caroline?
I'm a little miserable, unfortunately. I've had a bad cold all week and non-COVID. I'll put an asterisk there. So please excuse me this episode with my voice and the occasional cough. But yeah, I still wanted to be here and have fun with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for braving your way through feeling sick again. So this is going to be a great experiment to finally prove if you can get sick through over the internet. So if in 2 weeks' time when we record, if Lino and I are not feeling well, we know what happened there.
Blame me.
Speaking of which, Lino Sabol is also with us. Lino, how are you today?
I'm doing well, guys. Hopefully you get well soon, Caroline.
No, thank you. Thank you.
I'm so far myself as okay. It's okay.
Good.
But I wouldn't be surprised I'll catch us from somewhere, from a godchild or a person I shake their hands or someone I hug. Oh, hug. No, we can't do that yet.
We're not allowed to hug.
No, we're not allowed. Okay. Oh,
well, you can. I think everyone's hugging and shaking hands now.
Hands anyway. Let's go back. Noble in
just share the common cold and whatever else is around.
Yeah, we're a community of sharers. We just sometimes share the wrong things that we don't want to share.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah. Actually, it has been bizarre because I've been going to different places, and in some places I go to, someone will put their hand out for a handshake to say hi. And I'm like, right, because they're standing there with their hand. I'm like, right, I'm supposed to put my hand down and shake your hand, right? I'm like, I'm shaking the hand, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm going to sanitize this later.
Don't touch your face.
And then
don't touch your face.
And then other people I've spoken to, or I catch up with, or say hello to, whether it's at work or somewhere else, they we'll look at each other and like, hey, how's it going? And you can see that both of us want to put our hands out, but we're not.
It's like, we can't.
Yeah, exactly. I've had a few of those. Do we hug or not hug moments?
Yeah. And there are moments with people where it would normally be suitable for me to hug them, but we're like, just pretend I'm hugging you.
Yeah. Or
you
kind of do the stand back, hello.
Hello.
Yeah. It's been really strange.
Very awkward.
I guess because we're in that fortunate position still, where we've got our lives pretty much back to normal now. We're not really much in the way, apart from the odd mask here or there on public transport and things like that.
That's true. Yeah. We still can't shake hands at church yet.
Church numbers haven't been restored completely. Which is an issue of contention.
Because a lot of other places have had their numbers increased, and how come our churches haven't?
Yeah.
So get on to Danny about that one.
Yeah, so Archbishop Colin Solly has been...
Daniel Andrews. Oh, sorry, I thought it was Danny, our parish manager.
Not our parish manager. He would love if we could fill up the church again.
He can't do much about it.
Yeah.
Although you wouldn't want to get in our parish manager's way either. So
although he's lovely, he's so nice.
He is. He's a beautiful man. I know.
He is.
Yeah, but any chance to have a dig at someone is great. All right. So why don't we get the show started? First of all, I just want to remind everyone to like the Catholics of Oz, please, on SQPN's Facebook page at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, and on Twitter, where you can find the network at SQPN. If you're listening to the Catholics of Oz for the first time, you can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, or your favorite podcast player. SQPN hosts all of its shows also on YouTube, so you can subscribe there. Just look for SQPN on YouTube. You can subscribe to all the shows, including this one. Just hit the bell to get new notifications when episodes are released. And also, please don't forget to, if you're listening right now, pause for a second. Or if you've got your phone out, get your podcast player out and just hit that 5-star review for us, please. That'd be great. It helps the algorithms to share us with new people. If someone is out there looking for some great Catholic content, I mean, there's us, so we're pretty good. So, so we'd love to have more people coming along and hanging out with us. If we can offer a bit of hope in these times, if we can offer some companionship, that's what we're all about. If we can offer some faith inspiration, a bit of science, a bit of fun along the way, that's what we're here to do. So if you know someone who needs that, please share the show. 5-star review otherwise, and leave us a great comment, because we do read those when we see them, and it makes us very happy. So we'd love to hear from you that way or any other way. So why don't we get started, guys, with Faith Beyond Borders?
Well, I'm actually feeling rather good about this. I think we've all arrived at a very special place, eh? Oh. Spiritually, ecumenically.
How do you make somebody love you without affecting free will?
Welcome to my world, son. You come up with an answer to that one, you let me know.
Yes, I had to work very hard to pass Latin and theology.
Oh, quite. Those are, of course, the most important things.
Oh, yeah.
I'd sit this one out, Cap.
I don't see how I can.
These guys come from legend. They're basically gods.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
So this Faith Beyond Borders, it's a bit of a follow-up, I guess. In February, I think it was, Lino, you and I did a show. This was when Lino and Caroline were kind of having a contractual spat about who should be on, who should be off. That's not actually what happened. But
We
that's
refused to
my
be on the
interpretation.
show at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. Yeah, for some reason, something was going on there. I think it was a pay dispute with Dom. I'm not too sure what it was. So
it's all right. We've
they wanted more
resolved
money.
it. It's all good.
Yeah, it's been resolved now, hasn't it? Yeah.
It has? I didn't hear anything. What's going on now?
I'll just believe me.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I
That's
trust
what's
you,
going on in my
Caroline.
mind
I trust
anyway.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
What was
yeah.
actually happening in reality was that they were unavailable at different times. So, yeah.
True.
It's not as exciting as my version, though. Yeah. So anyway, Lino, you and I, we discussed the Abdullah family and the tragedy that happened in February last year, where a few of their children were sadly hit by a driver who was under the influence of alcohol and drugs. And the extraordinary story that Leila, the mother, and Danny, the father, they found it in their hearts and through their faith to forgive the driver. And just earlier this year, which is why we mentioned them on the show, is because they launched the I Forgive Day. So it's a national day for Australia. It's called I Forgive Day. And they're basically sharing other people's stories of forgiveness in order to bring healing and to bring hope, to help other people out. So, Caroline and Lino, this is really awesome. Leila, the mother in this situation, she has been awarded by, I think it was Family Voice Australia. I wrote it down. Yes, Family Voice Australia. She's been awarded the 2021 Mother of the Year, which is awesome. Because of her example. So I've got an article from the Catholic Weekly, which I'll share in the show notes, but just a couple of quick notes from there. So she said that she felt humbled and privileged and grateful. She was extremely surprised. She didn't see it coming. She's from Sydney. She's a Maronite Catholic, and her husband inspired the nation when they forgave the driver who crashed into their 4 eldest children, so killing Anthony, Angelina, and Sienna, as well as their niece, Veronique Saker. So, and then their daughter Liana was also injured, and their nephew Charbel. So, all the children were affected in some way or another. So it was a very tragic story. So then February this year, as we spoke about, they launched I Forgive Day. And this is like an annual day for people to seek healing through forgiveness. And this is in the memory of their children, which is a beautiful legacy that they've turned this tragedy into. So Leila shared a few bits of wisdom about her about finding solace in her Catholic faith and about her how she perceives her role as a Catholic mother. So she said, a wise mother prays for her family, leads them to God, and points them to heaven. So this is what she told the Catholic Weekly in response to her award. It says faith also helped her to, and this I didn't know that this happened, but to take the loss of precious sentimental items that were connected with their children. Their house had actually been robbed recently, they've had other issues. But she said the reason the robbery that we had at our home didn't upset us is because we have detached ourselves from the material worldly things and attached ourselves to spiritual things that matter so much more, to kindness, love, care for each other. These are things to strive for. I just keep thinking about the number of times this family has had something happen to them some of the worst things, and then a robbery. I mean, who robs a house of a family like this? Like, they would obviously, whoever robbed their house wouldn't have known. I mean, not that you should rob houses anyway, but it's just as they say, pouring salt on the wounds, and yet I'm sure that they hurt, but they're able to take it with such grace and to turn it into something good. If I had half the I don't know, the conviction of these parents, I reckon I'd be a better person. It's just amazing. Yeah, so during the coming year, the mother of 6 said she'll continue, and this is what she's dedicating the award to. She wants to support other bereaving mothers and parents, particularly through her prayers. I will continue to give my children, Leila, Alex, and Michael, everything they need to be truly strong in this world and to lead them to heaven. The mother of 6 says that mother is the most important title in the world, and in the statement, she paid tribute to her husband, Danny, and all of her children, as well as her mother-in-law, Bridget Saker, and Rania Cassis. Any mother will tell you losing a child is the hardest thing imaginable, but you will never surrender or give up, she said. They are still present in your life. And there's more. She talks about Mary being the greatest mother of all, a model for mothers. She said she's the greatest mother, the mother of Jesus. So there's some... Again, her reflections on motherhood are quite amazing. Clearly, a woman of strength. These parents are quite strong considering what they've gone through. And the angle I guess we wanted to take is, I guess, talking about mothers. We recently celebrated Mother's Day. And Caroline, you being a mother, you're the mother on the panel. Yes. You're the expert here. Lino and I have never been or are unlikely to be mothers at all at any point, as far as I know. Yep. So wanted to... Yeah, true. So wanted to throw it to you, Caroline. Tell us about what it means to be a mother to your children. And just before the show started, we were talking about Frankie and how, he has particular needs from you as his mother as well. So just throwing it over to you, what does it mean to you to be a mother to your children and the way that you love them so that they can grow and thrive in this life as well?
Yeah, so first of all, excuse my voice, I just want to say that I could not imagine how it would feel to lose a child. I would be so devastated, and what courage this mother has shown and the father to forgive and then to launch a day for forgiveness. I don't know if I could be that amazing. I just want to commend them so much for that. Being a mother is definitely the biggest joy of my life. It's the most important job in my life. It is the thing that I do the most in my life, apart from working and sciencing and, whatever else, the other things I do. I put being a mother number one. You change when you become a mother. All of a sudden you have, these little beings to look after, and you are the one that needs to look after them to ensure they grow up well. You have to feed them. You have to take care of all their needs, and you don't want to think about it too much because it can be quite scary. Of course, I have the support of my husband, who's a wonderful father as well. But as a mother, I think there's this particular role that you're pretty much, I don't want to say number one, but they go to you first, when something's going wrong or whatever. But I guess, I have two boys, Frankie and Harry, and Frankie is 9 years old, and he is, he's high-functioning autistic, and which, to me is just Frankie, he's just my boy. Yeah. He's got particular needs, he's a very intelligent young man. If you think of maybe autistic people in your life, that they like to focus in on things and they like to talk about the one thing that they're very obsessed about at the time, and and they're very factual, they're just they're amazing. I guess, but the flip side to that is that they'll have other needs like emotional needs and things like that. So maybe social, they're not able to interact socially as well as maybe someone without autism, is able to. So I guess there's a little bit more that a mother will have to put into a child who has these needs. And, I love Frankie probably not more than my son Harry, obviously not.
Uh-oh.
But
we're recording, let's keep that in mind.
Not more, I wouldn't say that, but
when Harry's 30, he's going to hear this.
But when someone has a need, you want to help them and they need more help. So, and you just, you kind of feel that you need to help them more. So, and so I'm always trying to think of what he needs. Like I'll take him to a psychologist, every couple of weeks and, pediatrician, and just to try and keep him on track. And I'm always aware of how he's going at school. I mean, academically he's doing really well, obviously, but, there's sometimes he has a few hiccups with how he's interacting with kids. Like he may not have as many close friends as other people, so that's a little bit of a worry for me. I just worry, how is he going to deal with that as he grows up, and and he thinks more like an adult. Like I've never had in Frank, he's never been like a little boy kind of guy. He's been always like a mature mind. He's always thinking. He's
a very sophisticated young man, isn't he?
He is. And when he speaks to me, I just think, are you 9 years old, really?
Like did you say that?
Yeah,
well.
It's like his vocabulary is very good. He articulates himself very well, better than myself. And so it's kind of a privilege to have a child who is so unique like that, So it's for me it's a privilege, and it's my special role in life to guide him and to ensure that all his needs are met. And then there's Harry, who I hate to use the word normal, but he doesn't have autism. I'll just put it that way. And he is fine socially. He's able to make friends. He's a smart little guy as well. He's learning. He's picky. With school last year, they had to do school online, and it was his first year on school. He didn't pick up anything. He was just not interested in remote learning at all. But I'm so impressed with the way he is picking up things this year. He's really catching up, with the aid of the teachers at school and everything. So, but he's really eager to learn. So, but then he doesn't understand completely why Frankie may speak to him or like be a little aloof with him, or just not behave in an expected manner, I guess, towards him. So then I have to cater for my little Harry's needs as well, So it's like when he's old enough, perhaps he will understand why Frankie may behave certain ways. It's nothing to be offended, with. It's just the way that Frankie is. So, that's a little bit of a lesson for Harry to learn as he gets older. So, but my boys love each other. Don't worry. They cannot be separated from each other. They just love each other so much. But, Harry's a little sensitive boy and he might get offended and come to me and Frankie said this, or Frankie did this, or he looked at me this way, or whatever. So, I mean, that sounds completely normal, what children do anyway. But
I can imagine you, Caroline and Lindsay doing that, hey?
We just used to. I think
Lindsay looked at me really weird. What's going on here?
Lindsay and I went through periods of like really love hanging out with each other, and then we were like annoyed each other so much, and but now we're like best buds.
Was the turning point when I broke your favorite toy telephone when we were younger? Was that the?
Ooh, I had a talking telephone, and Lindsay, he broke it.
I broke it.
No.
Yeah.
The little girl on the other side didn't talk to me anymore. And
in my defense, I can't remember doing that, but I get reminded about it.
I think you were like 1. I was like 3 and you were like 1.
And then we had fun times like when I flicked the butter. I mean, that was really good.
We were in the kitchen and we never told Mum how there's a blob of butter on the wall. I don't know what happened to that blob of butter.
we were sitting I forgot how old we were, but we were sitting at the kitchen table. We definitely weren't teenagers. And mum was cooking while we were sitting there watching, and she left a tub of butter right there in front of us. So I grabbed the knife and had this big blob of butter on it, and I was just playing with holding the tip of the knife and the handle in my hand, and I pulled the end of the blade, like of the tip of the knife, and like it was like an elastic. I let go, and the butter launched itself off the knife, and it hit the wall like really high up where no one could see it, and like we could see it. Caroline could see it. It was just sitting there, and I was waiting for Mum to see it and yell at us, but she never saw it. We did admit this to Mum much later, like years later, like when we were
like only
to,
recently, I think too.
Yeah, we were adults, so we you know, I mean. We had to confess eventually, but when we knew we weren't going to get in trouble, so we waited that long. Yeah.
We just didn't want to say anything.
I mean, we can remember that. That was, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how flicking butter became a thing, but yeah, all right. I was about siblings, that's
Anyway.
right. Yeah.
But that was a funny memory that we had.
Yes.
Poor Mum. She had a lot
Poor
to
Mum.
deal with, especially with you. But anyway.
Just wonder what happened to that butter. Just, it disappeared, you know.
They've since painted on that wall and
like
renovated the
this big-
kitchen, so it's
yeah.
long gone.
If you remove that cupboard, there's probably this big butter stain on the wall now.
But yes, anyway, back to being a mum. Gosh, I'm glad my kids are actually, they're worse. Sometimes they're a lot worse. You don't want to know what they've been smearing on the wall behind my back, and I find a lot later. But anyway, yeah, so I guess, when it comes to being a mum, it's a special role, and you know, it's mostly about looking out for every single need of theirs, and it's such a privileged thing. And even their faith, you know, their faith life, you know, ensuring that we pray and answering all their questions. Like, I don't even know how to answer some of these questions. I need to like ring up Catholic Answers, I think, and say, what is this?
You need Jimmy Aiken on speed dial.
Yes,
you know?
yeah, that would be lovely, actually. Dom, can I have Jimmy's number, please? And yes, so yeah, no, I love being a mum. It's the best thing I've ever done in my life. You know, I've done a few things. I've studied lots, and I've done some art, and I've done all sorts of things. But being a mum is like my favoritist thing. Yeah, and yeah, no, I hope all the mothers out there had a lovely Mother's Day. Yeah, and was celebrated the way they should be, because it's not an easy role. You know, I mean, I don't want to ramble on, but you tend to be like the everything in the family, you know, especially like if you've got a husband that works a lot like mine and he's been staying away weeks at a time. You tend to be the everything. So you go to work, you look after the children, you come home, you do the cooking, the cleaning, the whatever, the administration, the organising of appointments, mothers will know exactly what I'm talking about. So, but you
You need
do
a
it
secretary.
with. I do. I need another one of me. But you do it with joy in your heart, and you would never change it for anything in the world. So it's just such a nice thing to see your children grow, and and when they come and say they love you and hug you, it's like that's all worth it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's the best. Yeah, thanks for that, Caroline. That's beautiful, getting that insight. And I'm sure there are mothers who are listening, to this podcast, or people who can recall special memories of their mums and ways that they've celebrated Mother's Day. But a salute to all the mums out there. We know how amazing you are. In whatever circumstances you are, you're our heroes, and we love you. And thanks for all the great work you've done, whatever it is, in whichever way possible, to to raise your children and look after your families and make sure the dad jokes aren't that bad when you're in social situations. And
you end up developing mum jokes, don't worry.
Yeah. Say, mum jokes and dad jokes. So that's right.
Yeah. Lino, just over to you. Mother's Day, what did you get up to? You've got your own mum, you got Bernadette's mum to sort out in a day. So how do you manage? How do you manage all that?
For my mum, she came with us to Bernadette's parents' place.
Oh,
so
lovely!
We spent our Mother's Day at Bernadette's parents' place, which has been a very long time. So maybe because they're getting older, we don't want to put too much stuff on them. You know what I mean? Tell them to cooking all the time every time we come to their place. So we try to alternate on different days. Sorry, my apologies. On every Mother's Day. So next year it could be at our place. And the year after that, it could be at another in-law's place, like Bernadette's brother's Martin's place, like that. We'll just alternate. So this year was at Bernadette's place. Bernadette's parents' place. And it's been such a long time. And it's been almost a year since my mum's seen Bernadette's mum and dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time we
Time
sort of
flies, really, doesn't it?
It does. It does. When was the last time last year. What did we do for Mother's Day last
I
year?
think we were in lockdown, were we?
Well, we're in lockdown. So,
yeah, it was a lockdown one, I think, yeah.
Goodness me.
Skype, Zoom.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I think we gave Mum a call, and we gave all the other mothers a call too. Yeah, we had dinner together, we had chats, and just talked about stuff was going on, and yeah, just together. Nothing too dramatic or controversial in the sense. I'm just
always good.
Yeah.
Nice, quiet.
Yeah, just nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all good with us.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. So what did we do? We what is it? We made breakfast for Isabel. Well, actually, you know what? This time Damien struggled to wake up, so he's becoming a teenager.
You're a
so
good boy.
I made breakfast for everyone. Yeah. Yeah, I know that Isabel, she likes chips, she likes potatoes, all kinds. She loves potatoes. So I grabbed some potatoes out.
Okay.
Well, they're gluten-free naturally, which is all right. So
Yes.
Wow.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
So I diced up some potatoes and threw them in the oven with like salt and herbs and whatever for breakfast.
yummy.
With, scrambled eggs, the usual, big breakfast kind of
that
items.
sounds so good.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that she likes that, so we did that, which was really nice. We had a good breakfast together. I made her a vanilla coffee. Now, there's a story behind the vanilla coffee, but I might be a little bit obsessed with the vanilla syrup that Aldi releases only once. I don't know why they do it once per year. Aldi, you've got to make this a year-long thing. Why do you do this to me? Anyway, that's a rant for another
product.
time. Yeah. So anyway, the Sants have stocked up on vanilla syrup now since Isabel developed a taste for it last year in lockdown, and it goes faster. So
exactly. Yeah.
So
it works.
So you people may have hoarded toilet paper, but I've got all the syrup. All right. So there you go. Yeah.
Priorities.
Anyway. Yeah. So Isabel has developed a taste for vanilla syrup, so I made her a beautiful vanilla syrup coffee. So we did that. Then this time we did mass at home because Alexander has been a bit unwell. He gets colds very easily, and so we've had this situation where we've been going to mass on Sundays almost once a fortnight, really, just because he gets sick quite often, and we don't want to take a coughing, sputtering child to church. And, first of all, taking him outside in cold weather is not a good idea when he's sick. But
Melbourne weather, man. Ooh,
cold, I mean, like it's the top of 12 degrees, which for some people may not sound bad, but for us, that's bone chilling.
For Melbourne, that's chill.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's a cold day for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had mass together, and we did Father Rob Galia's mass, and he said he had some beautiful things to say about Mother's Day and a beautiful prayer for all the mothers, which was really nice. So we prayed over Isabel together as a family, which was beautiful. Then I wanted to go and visit Mum, but Mum said, no, I'll come to your house, which is good. So Mum, she wanted to come to our house and visit, and so she came with our brother Paul. We hung out for a little bit. And then later in the day, it was we went and saw Isabel's mother, go to Isabel's parents' house. And that meant, so Isabel's sisters, Priscilla and Jenny, were also there. So there was mothers everywhere as far as the eye could see. And it finished with the Shao family. So this is not my family, it's Isabel's family. The Shao family's favorite pastime now, which is playing mahjong. And they're quite and they're quite competitive about it as well.
It's either the Shaos or the Trapnels. So Jerry,
that's right.
Plays.
Jerry's right into it. Yeah, we've all been converted to mahjong, playing mahjong now. Yeah. And Isabel's dad is he's really
a mahjong king.
He's a killer.
He's the MK.
Yeah, he is definitely, yeah. At one point he got up, so it was me and Isabel, Jenny, and Priscilla playing. And I felt really bad because it was Mother's Day, but I started winning, and I don't win very often. But I had I won 4 in a row. Yeah, I won 4 in a row, and I'm like, happy Mother's Day, everyone. I got those grrr.
Cheeky.
We get those lucky tiles, man. When you get those lucky tiles, especially what they called?
The Joker, the Joker. The Joker tile, for anyone who doesn't know, can be anything. It can be any tile that you want because you're trying to match them up. So, and that's how I won. I kept getting Jokers. I'm like, wow, this is awesome.
That's because you're so funny.
Just like, is a poker? Is it poker? Yeah.
It's like there's some similarities to poker.
Did you miss that joke?
What was that, Caroline? Say it again.
Thank you, Lino, for laughing.
I missed it. What were you saying?
I said because you're so funny.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, we'll reveal another Sant family
Look,
secret.
it's a good one. Lino loves it. Thank you, Lino.
I was about to say something about vanilla rice, but that's gone.
Oh boy, yeah. Oh, that was before the show. Yeah.
God, don't make me laugh. My throat's not going to go.
Sorry, Caroline.
Yeah.
Sorry, Caroline.
Another Sant family secret, Caroline, is that we have a family chat on our phones, like a message group, and I'm constantly sending really, really bad dad joke memes all the time.
Today's one was particularly bad.
Why not?
Yeah, one of the most recent ones was I actually thought this was quite funny. Was there are these two stick figures talking, and one goes, "Oh, I'm not feeling so well. I think I'm going to collapse." And in the second panel, he goes, "You'll be okay." And then when he falls over, the stick figure looks like the letters "okay," like the word "okay."
Yeah, type in your phone "okay" and then turn it around. It's like a stick figure.
Yeah, and this is it now, Caroline. Yeah, every time we see "okay" typed on a phone, we can see a stick figure lying down on its side.
That's become a new side. Like, what do you call it? Inside joke.
Inside joke. I can't unsee it now. "Okay" looks like a stick figure that's fallen over.
And what did I send you in my delirium? I see a bunch of "okay" like stick figures, and I said, "Turn it around. It looks like a bunch of stick figures standing on each other's shoulders."
Yes, very funny. Yeah, it was great. Yes. And Mum's part of this group, and she laughs sometimes. I think we get, sometimes we get her. It's when you get her by surprise, because she'll be like, ugh, but then when you get her by surprise and she finds it funny,
she loves
really
it.
Carmen, yes.
Yeah.
Mum, she's beautiful.
That's great.
She's got a good sense of humor.
Yes.
Yeah. So tribute to all the mothers. Again, thank you for all that you do. You're amazing. And this example from Leila Abdullah of just her continuing to. Well, really, just continuing on, considering the circumstances that she's in. She's an inspiration to us all, and prayers for her and her family, and prayers for all the mums. Even though Mother's Day was now, a couple of weeks ago. Or no, it was last week for us. 1 week ago. Yeah, it'd be 3 weeks by the time this episode comes out.
I spent the weekend watching The Hobbit. It was good.
Yeah. Oh, great. Oh, because we talked about with the audio version. Yes, which is amazing. Yes. Yeah. Great. All right. Well, let's move on. Caroline, I'm looking forward to this. So let's talk about science.
What a fine day for science.
You have any hobbies?
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
Can you reverse the polarity?
I'll do my best.
Science, 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 science. Science, 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 science. Yeah, I like science.
Caroline, I'm going to read how you've put it here. This is great. All right. So cool. Our science topic is we will talk a tiny bit about space later on, but our science topic is actually about cats.
It's about time, really.
Yeah, man's other best friend, or man's dominant best friend, really, because the cat's the one in charge. But Caroline, the headline here is cats love boxes so much they'll even sit on fake ones. Caroline, over to you.
Yeah, so this is a headline that I took from the Live Science Online magazine, and it caught me as soon as I read it. I'm like, okay, I've got to read this one. And then I read it and I was like, okay, I've got to talk about this one. Forget all the science Mars stuff. Today we're talking about cats.
We don't care that NASA's got a helicopter on Mars. This is about cats, and this is
and
what
they
matters.
made oxygen on Mars.
In true cat fashion, where it's all about the cat, this is where, this is where the topic is.
Exactly. Cat trumps Mars. So, all right. So this is actually really cool. Okay, and if you're a cat lover, I think you'll be inspired to try some things out after I finish. So, and please, excuse my voice once again. So people who own cats know that they love to sit in boxes. Can I confirm this with you, Lino? You have two cats.
Definitely.
Okay.
OMG. Yep.
Yes. All right. So they find.
Or is it OMC? Is it my cat?
Oh, my cat. Yes. Okay. That's a bit better.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. Someone laughed at that.
We're on fire
me.
today.
I was the one who laughed at that.
Yes. So cats love them because they're fun to play in. They can spy on prey, including their owners who walk by and they kind of just jump out at their legs.
Yeah, they leap out, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
They love it. They're naughty. They're very cheeky. They feel really cozy, when they go into a box. They look so happy and cozy. They might, curl up and have a sleep, and they feel nice and safe in them. Well, a citizen science project was undertaken recently and led by Gabriella Smith, who's an animal cognition scientist. And after listening to a lecture on how dogs react to visual illusions, she wondered, this is a quote, if cats' tendency to sit in squares on the floor would extend to illusionary squares. So we've heard of probably most cat lovers would have heard of the if it fits, I sits philosophy. So like, you know, they've done these experiments like when you tape a square onto the floor, the cat might go and sit in it, or like if there's a tiny little box, the cat will try and fit themselves into it, or laundry baskets, vases. I've witnessed a lot of this with my own cats. So if there's anything that they can think that they fit themselves into, they will go into it.
They will squeeze themselves into
Damien
it.
Damien and I sometimes we watch funny cat videos on YouTube, and we saw a cat, like it was just a really small bowl, and the cat just somehow managed to coil its body into this bowl and just fit itself snugly in. It's
They
like,
just wanna
that looks
get in
painful,
there.
but it's like, it was really happy in there. Yeah,
That's it. And a few years ago, there was also the Cat Square Challenge, which was where people would post pictures of their cats sitting in tape squares to social media. So, like, this was a thing.
I so have to do this soon.
Yeah, you're going to have to try this.
I'm going to inspire you. So, so this scientist, Gabriella Smith, and her colleagues decided they would try a little different angle with this, okay? So they wanted to focus on the Kinesia illusion, which is, so imagine circles. So it's an illusion, and you cut out, nobody can see my hands, you guys can see what I'm doing, but you cut out a quarter of the circle and cut out 4. So you put they're like Pac-Mans. They look like Pac-Mans.
Yeah, Pac-Mans.
And you put 4 in a square shape, and you put the triangles facing each other so that it looks like the illusion of a square. So you can actually look this up on Wikipedia, and there's lots of different kind of illusions, you know, just visual illusions that, you know, people can make. So they thought, let's try this with making the illusion of a square. So what they did is they used Twitter, and they called out for people for cat owners to take part in a citizen science project, which over 6 days, volunteers made these square outlines using the Kinesia square illusion, and cut out the Pac-Man shapes, then oriented them in a way to create the square, and then also next to that, they would use the Pac-Mans to make a shape that wasn't a square. So what they did, and also they asked their owners to put sunglasses on so that you don't make eye contact with the cat. In my experience, cats don't care what you've got on your face.
It's only if they're interested. They'll only pay attention if you're interested.
That's it.
Yeah,
they just know it's you.
Food,
they'll come up to you.
Something about a little toy. Yeah. Yep, understand.
But anyway, so what they would do, they'd take the cat out of the room, make the square shape and the not square shape, and then let the cat into the room where the shapes were, and watch to see if the cats preferred either of these shapes. Okay, so, and they wanted to see if a cat would sit in either of these shapes for more than 3 seconds, and recorded the test on video. So what happened is about 30 people did complete the test, and only actually 9 cats decided that they would take part and make a choice of the shapes to sit in. And 7 of these cats did actually go sit in the illusion of the square, so the Kinesia square. So it wasn't an actual square, but it was the illusion of the square. So they did have one cheeky cat who decided, now I'm not sitting in that square, I'm going to the other shape. But, it could be that he thought, oh, that's a cool toy, let me go have a look at what that is. I know what the square's about, I'm just going over to the other one. So this experiment kind of did suggest that cats can be susceptible to the illusion. So, if there are cats who like the square taped on the ground, then maybe they also do perceive the illusion of a square, which is really interesting to see how, think about how a cat brain works. And so the researchers want to try, down the track, maybe using a 3D version of this to see if the cat can be fooled or, tricked into thinking that this is actually like a box. So, will they go sit in this illusion? Now, I actually tried this experiment, okay? So I thought, let's see how this is going to go. So I cut out the Pac-Mans, I put them there, and then I bought my little cat, Stella. So she's my new Burmese. She's 7 months old, right? And she's, and I just thought I put her near the two shapes, and she's like, oh, cool, paper. She went had a sniff, and then she's like, hi, Mum, what you doing? She just came up to me. Like, okay. And then I thought, maybe if I call her over, I just thought come and sit here. She's like, what are you doing? Like, what? She just didn't even regard anything that was on the floor. Then I thought, okay, you know what? I'll try the tape square one. I actually cut out paper and I put it down because I don't want to put any tape on my tile floor. But anyway, so I cut out thin strips of paper and I made a square, and I took her away, and then I, got her to come back. No, didn't even notice the square. You know what then? And then I actually left that shape, and I left that square shape. Then I just happened to get an Amazon delivery not long before this. So I thought, I've got a box. Let me put the box next to these shapes. What did she do? She's like right in the box. She just went straight away in the box.
There you go.
So she wasn't going to be fooled by any like paper or Pac-Mans. She just wanted to go straight in the box. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting to think some of the cats do like the illusions, but some cats like the real box, like the real thing. So, just having done that experiment of my own, I mean, I just wonder, like, do some cats think differently to other cats? Like, I did invite my other cats to try as well, but no, it was the box that was the thing. So, like, they didn't want any illusions. Yeah. They clearly didn't read this article, and they clearly didn't want me to take photos of them sitting in a square, because that's what I was really hoping for. But I do have photographic evidence, so I could show you. I could send them over to you, and maybe we could post a couple up of my cats just going, I'm not, what's this paper on the floor? But hey, thanks for the box. So
I wonder. I wonder if you left those illusionary squares for a day or two, and just out of sight, out of mind for a while, and then if the cats would naturally warm up to it, see it, and maybe go, oh, there's a square, I might just go sit in that. I wonder if that would.
Now you're saying that, I actually left them. I did leave them, and I thought maybe I'll just go away and I'll just keep looking. But they just completely, and then they just kind of moved the paper out of the way and was just playing with the paper. So they just didn't want to have a part of it. So, no, it's for my cats, the box, the actual box. And just having said that, the if it fits, I sits thing, I just, a little, something I noticed this morning is I have, one of those tall cat scratching pole things, and they've got beds in them and all of that. But my little cats, they love to sit in them, especially in winter. But my little cat Stella went and took the prime positions. There's a bed on top, it's like a little basket hanging down, and whichever cat gets it first gets to sit in there.
Exactly,
right.
It does.
So Stella got it this morning. And my other cat, Stella's like not fully grown yet. She's like a 3/4 size cat at the moment. And then my other cat, Chippy, he's a Siamese cross, ragdoll. So he's a big boy, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to go see if that's available. And he went up there. He saw that Stella was in there, and he's like, you know what, there's a little spot here. I'm just going to squeeze myself in here. And he sat right on top of her. So yes, if anything, the if it fits, I sits hypothesis is supported out of this whole experiment. So anyway. So
if it fits, I sit. I like that. Yeah. That's the that's great.
That's my conclusion anyway.
Yeah. Lino, have your cats contorted themselves into any particular places in your house at all?
Oh, definitely, guys. Yeah, same as Caroline. When we first, I won't forget, when we first brought them from the cat shelter, from the boxes, Cordell, as you guys know, he's very sociable, so he's out of the box. Lawrence took a while to come out of the box, maybe at least an hour? Oh, there he goes. Oh, when I
did hear him,
now. Anyway, he took a while to come out. And then, surprisingly, during the nighttime, they went back in their boxes. Even though we had everything all set up, like everyone knows, you set up everything for cats, And no, they went back in the boxes for the night. Even though we told them there's a bed there and everything, but they went back in the boxes for a bit. Because like Caroline would understand, I think it's more of the enclosure and being safe. You know what I mean? And then, like every cat, they got used to their house and smelling and everything now. I've got a lot of cat stories that Caroline wouldn't understand, and everyone who has cats. Oh my goodness me! Yeah, they're the lovely creatures. I'm not donating to cats, dogs, and all the pets. And I've said before that any pet you have is part of the family, and they bring joy to all of us. Yeah, I think the box thing, I may have to try that.
Yeah,
can you try it and tell us what
try
you think?
It on your cats. I want to
and
see
I'm thinking
happens,
too that maybe the reason they didn't sit in these squares and the illusions is probably because they're quite comfortable at home already, and they don't need to. They're like, I don't need to find security here. I'm quite okay. Like maybe anxious cats sit in those squares. Who knows? Like there's all sorts of things you can test out of this one experiment. But my cats are quite, they know they own the house, and they know, so they know they own me. So not only am I mother to, 2 boys, but mother to these 3 cats as well. So, but you're right. They're totally part of the family.
There you go. If it's science and if it's the cognitive function of cats, we'll go there. So yeah.
It was one thing, guys. I don't know if it was you, Caroline. Did you send on Facebook about a story? Was 2 dogs and 1 cat went to heaven? Was that you or someone?
Might not have been me.
And so a dog. Just very quickly, I'm gonna probably get into trouble with this. You can edit this out, Tom. Dom, if you want to ban like this. So 2 dogs and 1 cat went to heaven. 1 dog was a golden retriever, and the other dog was a German shepherd. So the golden and the other cat was just a normal cat. And so God asked the golden retriever, so what have you done during your life? And the golden retriever does, I've protected my master, I've loved my master, I've protected the family. And he goes, okay, cool. So you sit on my right hand side. And I asked the German shepherd, and the German shepherd said the same thing. I'll love my master, I'll care for the whoever protected. And God said, okay, you sit on my right hand side. And God asked the cat, and the cat said, you're sitting in my spot.
That is so true.
That's good. I love that.
I'm not sure it was you, Caroline,
that
who said
so
it.
True.
Said it on Facebook, but
it's so funny.
Either way, there's so much truth to that. All right. On that note, let's
It's a good one. I love it.
Some minor topics. So very quickly, we just on the space front. Very quickly, let's go back to outer space. SpaceX. SN15, they've managed to land a Starship prototype. Caroline, take it away. What happened?
Oh, yeah, this was actually really cool. The launch went off without a hitch. We couldn't see that well again because the weather was a bit
It flew into the fog,
overcast.
didn't it? Yeah.
It did. But, those cameras they have on board are amazing. I love seeing the rockets, the first-hand view of the rockets. And it was a pretty good flight. They went up. They took their time. They did the horizontal flip.
Not the flip, yeah. That's right, yeah.
Flew down, and then it was pretty okay. And then they went back to the vertical, landed back down. And then there were a few moments, Lindsay and Lino, where I thought, oh my gosh, they are coming down too fast. But then at the last minute, they did start to regain some control. And it seemed like it was more of a controlled land. And they landed it. So, yay to SpaceX. Well done.
That's
for a good
amazing.
landing. It did.
Yeah.
I was waiting, to be honest.
Waiting for a boom or an explosion later on. Or, like
then,
the previous one, yeah.
And no kabloom. And what's the meme that I sent you?
Awesome. It is.
Where's the earth-shattering kaboom?
Where's the kaboom? Yeah. Where's my earth-shattering kaboom? Yes.
If anyone remembers Marvin Martian, but yes. Awesome. So I thought that was great. That's progress, and I'm really excited to see more test flights going well from these guys. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
SN15 had the next generation Raptor engines, so they'd used the first Raptor engines were prototypes on the previous SN series. SN 11 was the last one. That was the one that exploded in just
Yes,
like
oh my
in the
gosh.
fog. You saw nothing, and suddenly there's just bits and pieces flying
Debris.
everywhere.
Yes.
It exploded in midair. But they'd gathered all the data that they needed from that series of testing from 8 through to 11. So they skipped 12, 13, 14 because they didn't need to do any more of that version of the rocket. They'd already been advancing with, like Elon Musk had said previously, SN15 will be a more mature design, better Raptor engines, better design, like the internals of moving fuel from the header tank to the engines when the landing burn starts. All of that would be sorted out. And you could see clearly, like it was a flawless landing. It was beautiful to watch.
It was very good. I think there was a little bit of a fire going on
at the end. There was a fire, methane fire, which they managed to thankfully get under control pretty quickly.
Yes, but it was good. You could tell it was a better flight for sure. It was a lot smoother.
Yeah, so there's going to be testing of, I think it was 16 and 17 from memory. Don't quote me on that. But the big thing is SN20. This is the one. This is the one we're all going to be looking forward to. Do you want to, Caroline, give us a brief what's happening? Well, planned for July, but what are SpaceX planning on doing? Because this is
flying.
I don't care what time of the day this happens. I'm going to be watching this.
Actually, I'd like to be on their flight because they're flying to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to. Yeah, take a Starship to Hawaii. Yeah,
yes, the actual. Yeah,
sorry, I don't know how Wi-Fi there.
An actual flight. So, imagine catching a Starship to Hawaii. I think I'd do that. That would be fun.
Yeah, the idea that it's actually going to be mounted on, I think BM3 is the name of the booster. This thing is a monster, what they've got in mind.
Yeah, was it 16 stories or something? 16 stories
it's huge.
high.
They're still building the towers for them at Boca Chica as well.
Yeah, it's going to be massive.
It's going to be stacked on a booster. It's going to be an orbital launch, so the Starship will go into orbit, and then I think the whole thing it'll orbit for 90 minutes. I think it was. And then after 90 minutes, it will then re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, well, that's the plan anyway, and land somewhere off the coast of Hawaii.
Got to be so good.
Yeah. So it looks like, if all goes well, this will be on the school holidays because I haven't got 90 minutes of work to watch the whole thing from start to end. Unless work has some kind of rocket leave that I don't know about, like some kind of in the
hang on. How long does a class go for at school?
Yeah, right, yeah. Kids, I know that we're meant to be doing philosophy today, but we're going to be looking at rockets.
But we're actually going to be streaming.
Kind of philosophy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I might have to leave it on in the background. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. But,
look, that's science. Valuable learning.
It's actually very interesting because when I do, like, if there has been a rocket launch, so I showed the Crew 2 launch, I think it was, or it was either that or it was the demo 2 launch. I had it on the background in just while we were doing work, so I didn't get the kids to focus on it. They were doing their work, but the number of questions, the curiosity they have, even the Starship demos, sometimes they're like, oh, are there people on that? They have questions like they want to know. So it's like, no, but guess what they're going to do with this? And it's like, it opens up their horizons a bit, which is pretty amazing. Yeah. So let's see what happens. We'll be watching very closely what happens at Boca Chica and seeing what Elon Musk's Starbase, as he calls it, is going to produce.
This is so exciting. Yeah. Cannot wait to see more.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, let's roll on. And we're going to talk about entertainment.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
This is not what we came here to do.
No, but it's what I'm going to do.
I have a plan. You've got a plan. I have part of a plan. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
All right, so Caroline, I'm going to throw this over to you as well because this is one that I think we might have all seen this, or we've all. Did you watch it as well? So this was Elon Musk, just sticking with SpaceX, and he did a couple of skits. He was the host of SNL, Saturday Night Live, and we were able to watch it. It was put online so we could watch the whole thing. So Caroline, starting with the opening monologue, tell us all about it, your impressions.
Yeah, I was actually very impressed. He did such a good job. He made some jokes about, he's got Asperger's. It's just similar to, it's the same thing as high functioning autism as Frankie, which was good. He just put it out there in case anyone didn't know. But he made jokes about how he needs to stare into the camera, to the cameraman, make eye contact because maybe his social skills aren't normally that, good. And he was able to make that kind of a joke about himself, which is kind of endearing. He had the, look, I could say he took on the spirit of having fun, which was really good to see. He made jokes about a tweet that he made, which made no sense to anybody except himself.
Well, okay, sure. I'm sure you found that funny, Elon, but what's going on there? Yeah.
And there were a couple of other jokes, something about him. Look, I've been busy, making rockets and launching, making cars. Do you expect me to be, I can't even remember the end of the joke, but it was very funny.
There was one where he said, but this is how my son's name is spelled.
Yes.
It's got this weird XA symbols, whatever else. And he goes, you pronounce it cat run across the keyboard.
I love that, cat running across.
That was quite good,
It was funny. So he's poking fun at his eccentricities, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Which was, he's good. He's got a good sense of humor. And then his mum came because it's kind of a Mother's Day special because it was happening at that time. And they had a bit of a dialogue, and they spoke about how when he was younger he made a game, and he was paid $500.
$500.
And he's like, oh yeah, Mum, where is that money? And she's like, it doesn't matter. As if to say she's kind of
that now,
she may have spent that money already. And
it was hilarious because you could tell at that point that they were reading from a script and how awkward it was. But that actually made it funnier for me.
It did. And then she said, what are you going to give me for Mother's Day? And she's like, please don't say it's Dogecoin. And he turned around and oh yes, it is Dogecoin. And she's like, no. And then she ended up saying something like, I'm really proud of you and I love you. And he turned around and said, I love you too, Mum, and gave her a hug, which I thought, that was so sweet, because that was a real genuine moment. I love you too, Mum. And then
on the Dogecoin thing, it's hilarious because the coin itself was made as a meme. They call it a meme coin. It's a joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was meant to be a joke the whole time through, not taken seriously as a joke about Bitcoin and everything. And it was worth basically nothing, like when it was launched. So, less than a cent, an American penny, so not much. And very, very slowly, it's just been creeping up in value over time. And then suddenly Elon Musk started tweeting about it, and it started pumping up the price. And on Twitter, I could see people go, "Oh my gosh, it just went over a cent! It just went over 5 cents." So it reached about 79 US cents at its peak.
Whoa,
and then actually when that skit came out, it crashed down to about 40 cents. But it sounds like he's got some serious plans for it, because I read that that SpaceX will actually start accepting Dogecoin as payment, and they are launching, this is ridiculous, right? The first ever meme launch. They're launching a satellite called Doge 1, which is going to orbit the moon, and it's like a CubeSat. So it's going to orbit Mars and take measurements, but it's going to be called Doge 1 and be paid for in Dogecoin. So that's
crazy.
Yeah. So
it's so crazy.
So can you imagine if you've been mining Dogecoin, how crazy you'd be going as the price just goes up and down depending on what Elon Musk says.
I know. And you just when he makes it, expensive next time, that's when I'm going to sell.
It's crazy.
But he had a lot of fun, and then he did a few skits, and one of them was about Dogecoin too, and they're like, but what is Dogecoin? And he kept coming. He had a description, Dogecoin is this. And then he's like, but really, what is Dogecoin?
But what is it? What is Dogecoin? Yeah.
So that was funny. Yeah, I mean...
so it's a hustle then? He goes,
it's a hustle.
And then the price
went down.
Yeah.
And there were lots of other skits that he did. He did really well. I thought he was so funny. Props to him for having a go at doing something totally out of his comfort zone.
Yeah. Lino, anything that stood out from you from Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live?
I only watched a little.
Speaking of cats, Lino is being attacked right now as we record by his cat.
Full on, man. He's come up and
you're in my chair.
My pants. I saw a little bit of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, so I need to have a look at it. But it's great what Elon Musk, came out and said he's got what was it called? Autism, but
the
Asperger's, yeah.
Asperger's, and like we were all saying before, when people have Asperger's and autism, they have a direct thing to go to. And to do. And with Elon Musk, even though he's doing with the car and SpaceX and everything like that, it's good that he can go from one thing to another. And when he has that idea and prove to the people that he can do it, and look, he's done it. Launched a rocket to,
he has a totally
to the space station.
different perspective on things, and it's kind of good because his thinking allows for more imagination and just not thinking like down the line like everyone else does.
Well, look at it. NASA is, it's awesome. The Artemis mission sounds brilliant. Can't wait to see what happens. But how many years has it been in development? And Starship has been not even half the time, and they're already just about ready to launch into space in July, which is before the Artemis mission at the end of this year, which is amazing.
True.
Yeah,
exactly.
And also, we actually wanted to use this segment to promote a brand new show that's coming out on a brand new podcast that's coming out on the StarQuest network. So I haven't had actually none of us have had a chance to listen to it because it only just launched a couple of hours before we recorded. But it is it's on Stargate, and it's called The Secrets of Stargate, which is very, very exciting. So we're all in different ways Stargate fans. And so from memory, it was Victor Lambs, and I can't remember the rest of them, but they're hosting it, and it's got a rotating panel of hosts, which is really, really cool. So Victor Lambs, Lisa Jones, and in the first episode, it's those two plus Father Corey, a well-known StarQuest host on some different shows, and Jack Berrezzini as well. So looking forward to hearing. So they've done an episode on the original Stargate movie with Kurt Russell. So this is the action hero kind of guy. From Kurt Russell, when the series launched, it was Richard Dean Anderson, or MacGyver.
MacGyver, yeah.
Yeah. What is it, Lino? Do you remember watching any Stargate at all, whether it's the movie or the series, and what were your impressions of this wonderful, wonderful show?
Yeah, I think we went to see the movie at cinemas with Dad. Yeah, Dad wanted to go and see it. Yeah, I can't remember the other actor. Oh, you guys were asking me. I can't remember. I have to Google Blacklist. The guy from Blacklist.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
David Spade. Or have I got the wrong one? Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry.
Is it James Spader? There it is. Sorry,
yep,
that's the power of Google. Yep, James Spader. He was the original Daniel Jackson. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I think we've seen the movie, and then we started watching the series. I think
it was years later, wasn't it, when it came out?
Yeah, it came at was it the series came out in 1990? Of course, the movie came out in the 90s, and then the series came a couple of years after or a year later.
Yeah, towards the end of the 90s from memory. I'm just
very quick came out. I didn't get into Atlantis, and I didn't get into Universe because I think I lost track of where
it became quite a big expanded universe. Yeah,
it did. I remember a tall guy with a stick from another world. What was his name?
Gandalf.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Gandalf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember Gandalf's cameo on Stargate? That was awesome. Chasing Gollum through the Stargate or something. Gollum saw the ring and he's like, precious. No.
Sorry, that's my cold brain thing.
You started that, yeah.
Gollum.
Are you talking about Teal'c by any chance?
Sorry?
Are you talking about Teal'c? Is he the character you're talking about?
Yes. I remember him. He was very well. I really don't.
Sorry. I ruined the segment. Sorry.
I think Yep. I remember that, and I think we went to maybe 3 or 4 seasons into the normal Stargate, and then I think we lost it from Channel 7. I think that once again they made it so late in night time.
It goes to midnight or some ridiculous time.
Exactly,
yeah,
and I think it was clashing with Star Trek as well at the same time. Don't quote
Probably,
me.
yeah.
So so you got Stargate, Star Trek. So it's sort of combined on Channel 7. I can't remember what station it was, but I think it was Channel 7, yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah. Caroline, how about you? Any Stargate memories?
Yeah, I used to love I can't remember if I saw the movie. It was such a long time ago. Probably did. But but the series I definitely loved watching. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really adventurous and, everything that you want in a series. And, you're always at the edge of your seat and wondering what's going to happen next. And just the idea of the Stargate itself was really cool.
Yeah.
And, having MacGyver in it was a bonus. So I don't think he's ever going to shake that. character.
No, he'll always be MacGyver to us. We used to watch it as kids. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But honestly, he did play, his role very well in that. They all did. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I haven't seen it for a very long time, actually. So maybe it's time to go back and watch some. But,
definitely worth a rewatch, and probably for anyone who hasn't watched it, you can watch it along with the podcast and just watch an episode, listen to the podcast, move on, follow along with the show, and have a great time over the years to come. I remember watching it and loving it when it started. What I loved about because Star Trek was my main sci-fi at the time, all the different Star Trek series that were coming out. So I'm pretty sure Deep Space Nine and Next Generation were running concurrently. Yeah, so it'd be like at the time. But what was amazing for me is that Stargate did something a little bit different to Star Trek in that they had much better character drama. So the character, not that the character relationships were not good in the other series, but the drama was different and it had this great blend of serious drama and then comedy, like really in your face kind of comedy. And they just had that balance in most of the episode. They just did that so well. And then combined with the technology of the Stargate and the things that they were discovering. And I loved that humanity were the underdogs in the series for such a long time. So they're always like the ghouls, were always like the big bad guys, and dangerous. And, there was no way they could defeat them. And every time they managed to defeat them, it was always some kind, it was some kind of human ingenuity that, they managed to do it. I remember, and I must have been in year 11 or year 12. So, but I remember there was the 2-part finale of the first season where there are 2 motherships heading for Earth, and they disobey orders to get onto one of these motherships, and they have this 2-parter. And I remember just going, "Wow, this is amazing!" And I still go to those 2 episodes every now and then when I want to watch something Stargate. I don't know why. Like, I mean, I'm sure now you look at it and think, "Oh, there's some flaws in the writing," and but I don't know why. But I love the adventure of those 2 episodes. And like there's humor again all the way through. That they're like there's bits of humor. Things going on, there's Teal'c with his stoic dude, there's all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
that's
all
what
these like
characters. He's a good character.
Yes.
Yeah, and actually, my favorite episode. So there was a bit where this is a spoiler, but I mean, you should have seen it by now. Sorry, but Daniel Jackson died right at the end of I think it was like the 5th or 6th season, and it was actually really emotional. It was like like the way they do it, like even his goodbye with Jack. Like the character, stuff between the 2 was amazing, and then in sci-fi, no one's truly dead, right? So what happens is Daniel Jackson has ascended. He's one of the ascended beings or whatever, and they're not allowed to interfere with the human world, but he keeps in subtle ways intervening. And there's this episode where Teal'c, and it was written by I forgot his name now, the actor who plays Teal'c. Oh, I had it for a moment. Anyway, there was an episode that he wrote, and it was about his character. And his character is dying, like there was in this ambush and they're dying, and his symbiote is giving him some kind of dream fantasy or something, or Daniel Jackson created it to keep him alive, and like Daniel Jackson sort of like appears and sustains him from time to time. And it was such an amazing episode, and it's still like hands down my favorite one of all time. It's so good. And I remember, I'll just say one more thing, I'll stop because I could go about this for ages. But there was this really funny Groundhog Day type episode. And it is the funniest ever episode of Stargate of any series ever. And so they get to a particular point of the day, and then the day starts all over again. And only Teal'c and Jack O'Neill can remember that they're living through a time loop. No one else knows. No. So they have to convince everyone every day. And Teal'c's day always starts with someone opening a door in his face. So every time he resets, the door opens up on him. Oh man. Anyway, there's just some great episodes. And Atlantis is a fan favorite. People were really sad that it finished with at the end of season 5. They thought there could have been more. And Universe is a bit more grown up. I think they tried to Battlestar Galactica a little bit. So some of the content I wasn't too happy about, but storytelling wise, it was pretty good. And it was actually one of the best lockdown series I watched because they're trapped on this ship and they can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
so,
right.
With limited resources and everything. So it was very much like they were in lockdown in a sense. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so the reason I'm ranting and raving is because let's all together listen to The Secrets of Stargate. You can subscribe to that on the SQPN website or through your favorite podcast player. And, Godspeed to the team. I've got many seasons and episodes ahead of you, and we're looking forward to seeing how the show goes and listening along as you produce it. So, shall we go on from there? I think we've been podcasting for a while now. Yep. It's all cats and Stargates today. So yeah.
Cats and Stargates. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So we want to thank everyone for joining us for episode 56 of The Catholics of Oz. And before we go, there are a couple of things we'd like to say. The first thing is to thank all the patrons who contribute to SQPN and keep the network going. And because of you, you've allowed new shows like the Secrets of Stargate and others to continue. And I do have one more, Caroline. She's typing to me. Yep, I've got one more to mention. But first, before I do that, we want to thank Jude H, Jimmy C, Ernie M, Clint V, and Allison H. Through their generous donations at sqpn.com/give, they make it possible for the Catholics of Oz and other shows on the StarQuest network to continue, and you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. Also, I have to mention another show, a little show that's also being launched on the StarQuest network, and it's called Let's Science, and it's inspired by Caroline's awesome science segments. And what it is it's going to be the science segment from each of our episodes of the Catholics of Oz, and it's going to be its own show. So it's going to be a short 10 to 15 minute podcast that'll come out every other week. So we have Catholics of Oz one weekend, which is what you're listening to now. Next week, you can catch another episode of Let's Science if you want to hear the science segment and get more involved with that. So the first one's already launched, and it is, Caroline, it was about talking about space dust.
Mm-hmm.
So, please subscribe to that, enjoy. And what we're hoping is that we can do some other Let's Science topics that are not on the Catholics of Oz from time to time as well. So we'll do some bonus ones for you. We're looking forward to that. So, Caroline, you've got a lot more research to do.
Yes, can't wait.
Yeah.
It's fun. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Caroline, congratulations on just that this became a show, because your science topics are fascinating, and I love them, and I learn a lot.
Oh,
and I know
you.
how much work goes into the background in preparing them. So it's awesome.
Oh,
So are they doing the best of for us, guys? Best of Catholics of Oz as well? No?
Is that just dad jokes, isn't
Outtakes?
it? And cat talks. Yeah.
Yeah,
the outtakes is everything that happens before we record a show.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
And while we're at it, so what else have I got to mention here? So don't forget also that SQPN puts out a newsletter. It's called the Insiders Club, and it has updates about what's happening with all of your favorite shows. So it's a bit of a summary of what happens each week. So you can go to sqpn.com/about/newsletter, and we'll put that in our show notes and sign up there. But if you live in North America, you can do this on your phone. You can join the StarQuest fan club. So you can text StarQuest, so text the word StarQuest to 66866. Send it to, I'll just say that again, so 66866 to make sure I got that clear. So only if you're in North America. If you do it here in Australia, I don't know, you'll probably get arrested or something. I don't know. Don't text this number. Who are you? Secret Services. I don't know. Yeah. But definitely North America, if you'd like to get updates by text, please join that service. It's a great news service that's been launched by the network. You can visit us at sqpn.com. I'll try that again. At the SQPN Facebook page at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. And also, don't forget our Catholics of Oz Facebook page, where Caroline will send some cat square photos for you all to see at facebook.com/Catholics of Oz. You can discuss our latest episodes there. And if you'd like to email us, and thank you for emails that we do receive from time to time, you can email us at catholicsofOz@sqpn.com. Caroline, thank you so much for sharing your science and your your wisdom about motherhood and your science about cats today.
Thank you guys for being perfect.
Oh, there's a mother joke. There you are.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had
fun.
And Lino, it's been cat-tastic to have you on the show today.
I got no.
You got nothing.
We got you.
You'll get it after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After we finish recording, Lino will be like, "Oh, I had the good one." I had the best one. Yeah.
Awesome,
Lino,
guys.
thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, guys. Take care. God bless.
All right. And once again, I'm Lindsay Satz. Thank you so much for listening to the Catholics of Oz on StarQuest. You did that, Caroline. That was your fault.
Whoops, I gotta stop recording.
Yeah. You took us into that territory.